everyone, it's Shel from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. Today's day 22 in the 2023 Countdown to Christmas series, and the technique for today was to create a masculine card. So we're going to start off with some Honeybee Stamps products. I have the Birch A2 cover plates. There are two of them. There is a base and a top. I did cut out both, but we're only going to use the top in the actual card. And then I also have the Little Pickup Paper Piecing Honey Cuts dies. Try saying that a bunch of times quickly. That's a mouthful. So I cut out all of the coordinating pieces and we're going to assemble them. I'm going to assemble the wheels first. It's nice there are two of those dies. So there's two circles and then two of the hubcaps. So you don't have to worry about cutting things out twice. Now, there are dies for the windows and the windshield, but they're super tiny and I didn't feel like getting them back out again. I cut everything else out. So I decided to go ahead and just put some vellum underneath the windows. And then I realized that there was actually a little piece for the windshield. So I cut out a rectangle for that and then glued that together to make it look like the windshield was also clear. I like using vellum for windows because you can color on it. And if you color a really light blue or a gray, it will give it some dimension and some shading, but because it almost does a stained glass effect, the light color you can barely see it through. I didn't do that on here, but I did decide that I was going to color in the die cut pieces for the actual body of the truck. I could have done different colors of red, but I just decided I wanted to make it as easy on myself as possible. So I ran all of the pieces through at once with one color of red cardstock. And then I decided to go over the entire thing with markers. You could do this with colored pencils, with distress inks, oxides. You could do regular inks, pigment ink, whatever you wanted to do to change up the shades. Now, the base layer would be the darkest because everything else is kind of sitting on top of that. So I used R89 for the darkest, R59 for the second layer, and R39 for the very top layers. I originally had R37 for that base, the second layer, and I decided that it was too big of a difference between the bottom layer and then the next one. So I did go back and change that to R59, I believe. So I'm just going to be coloring in these pieces, very easy to do, and I like the way it looks. I think it gives it kind of almost like a rustic look to the truck, or a rusty look, which is what I wanted. I wanted it to be that, when you think of, say, like a Hallmark movie, when you see, the girl goes back to her hometown after being successful somewhere and, she realizes that the guy that stayed in town all the time and they always drive a truck, so it's always like an old beat up truck. That's kind of what I wanted it to be. I have not watched too many Hallmark movies, but pretty much everyone that I have watched has had that in there. So we're just going to continue to color the pieces and put this all together. So while you're watching me do this, I thought I would talk to you a little bit about the series. Marie from Marie's Vermont Creations and I have partnered up this year to bring you guys 25 days of Christmas projects. So we came up with themes, techniques, stamp sets, etc., put them in the randomizer and got an order of a schedule. We drop videos every Monday and Friday. She and I have different styles, so you're going to get to see the same theme, technique, stamp set, whatever it may be, from artists who have two different styles, and hopefully it will inspire you to create projects for the season. We have some very quick videos which will help you with last minute gifts or last minute ideas, so make sure that you check out both of our channels. I will leave links below in the more information section to my intro video as well as her channel. You want to make sure you check both of those out so you know exactly what you have to do to be entered to win the giveaways. We have done extra prizes. She hit 800, I hit 700. So we're both giving away an extra prize. If I hit 750 by the end of these next couple videos, I will also give away an additional prize. So back to the card, I am just adding some Copic marker to give a little bit of texture to the tree. You can see here I'm trying to figure out where I want the tree to go. And you also see my special guest, Oreo's paw. So while I was trying to figure out where it was going to go, Oreo had different ideas. He completely moved his paw over to the truck and moved everything. He is not a very cuddly cat. He only likes to be around me, every so often. And he was actually sitting on my lap, almost like a person. So I did have to cut the video out because I wanted to actually cuddle with him because it's very unusual for him to do that. So I went ahead and glued the tree on, and now we are going to get ready to work on the background. So I brought out my Altenew stamp wheel, and this this stencil is from Lawn Fawn. It's called the Slimline Hillside Stencils. And what's nice about it is that so you can see the curve is the opposite of the bottom. So you can actually create a mask or a stencil. So these are really, really fantastic. I believe I got this in my gift box last year, the mystery box. I'm using tumbled glass to go ahead and do the sky for the background. I cut the piece of cardstock down to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, and like I said, inking up with tumbled glass Distress Oxide. I did do several layers. I am trying to remember that you want to put a light layer on first and then build it up and not go in with a super heavy hand. I am impatient and I don't like doing multiple layers, but it does look so much nicer when you do them. And I apologize if you heard the noise in the background. The cats are going crazy. This is their witching hour, and they're running all around from the craft room to the front of the house and then back. So I grabbed a brush that had just a teeny tiny bit of gray on there. It's actually from the video before this with the front porch dies from Honeybee. And I'm just adding a little bit of gray, a little bit where there would be kind of the top of the snow. So there would be a little bit of shading on it. And you can see there that the stencil fits nicely right over that. So I've created a mask for the sky. Very, very great. Whoever did that was very creative, and I like the fact that you don't need a mask because you just have the bottom of the die. Or the stencil, sorry. Now I'm getting ready to add the sentiment. The sentiment comes from the My Favorite Things stamp set Trio of Trees. And I've used the trees before, but I haven't used any of the sentiments. So I picked Christmas Wishes. And I'm going to go ahead and use Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink. I was originally going to use the My Favorite Things Extreme Black, but for some reason I picked up this one. It stamps very nicely. It's stamped crisp. I did have to stamp it twice because it was a new stamp, but very easy. I do really love the stamp wheel for more than just ink blending. That's pretty much what I've been using it for, but it's stamping, it works really well too. I'm now taking that top layer from the Birch A2 cover plates, putting some Bearly Arts glue on top of it, and then gluing it down onto my card panel, which again measures 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I'm going to take some of that 3M foam tape and pop the truck up. I wasn't sure exactly where I wanted it to go. Did I want it to be at the top of the hill? But with the sentiment there, I didn't think that looked right. I wanted it to be more down on the ground, kind of looking like it was, at a different level than the snow and the birch trees. So once I put all of that 3M tape on the back of it, I am using the stopper that I have for my glue to help peel the backing off because I can't find my pokey tool. I don't know what happened to it. So once I've removed all of that, Oreo is going to come back on and help me. I'm going to go ahead and glue that panel down to the card base. And again, he was really, really wanting my attention, or really, really wanting to help craft. You can see him rubbing his head on my arm. I'm going to go ahead and put the card or the truck down, and that is the card for today. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below, and I'll see you again real soon for another video. Bye!